Right now, as we were setting up for the podcast, we were talking about different friendships. I asked Chelo about different people, different friends that she's had in the past, whether or not they've mentioned to her anything about the podcast, right? Because obviously we've been doing this podcast. We've done a few episodes together. Well, this is going to be like a third or fourth one, right?
Yeah, I don't know which one, but it's been a couple already.
Yeah, we've done like maybe 3, 4, or whatever the count is, right? We've done a few podcasts, and what's crazy about this is that through TikTok, actually two of Chelo's have gone pretty like. One of hers went up to 130,000 views, and she received so many different beautiful comments, and everybody just reaching out to her. Another one got like 30,000, things like that, right? And the reason why I was asking her is because she never really mentions, or she never really, I never get to see that she tags or that somebody tags her and that she reposts anybody like tagging her in her stories or anything like that. And right now, something that she was mentioning, Chelo mentioned that at times when there is giveaways or things like that, they'll tag her, like, you know how usually giveaways, so they'll post something like tag 3, 4 people in this in the comment section, then do this, follow this page, etc., right? And the thing is that they'll post or tag Chelo because of the giveaway, but yet again, when Chelo's posting about, like, you know, the podcast, things like that, she never gets to see anybody sharing any of her stuff, right? But yet again, on TikTok, complete strangers just freaking share it, comment, or whatever the case is, and show so much love, right?
Yeah.
Talk to me about that, babe. What's been your experience about that? How do you feel about that?
I don't know, because I don't want to say they're hating, but then at the same time, it's like, okay, like you're freaking tagging me on a post of somebody that you've never even met.
Yeah.
And you're tagging me because you want to win this giveaway that you're probably like not even going to win. Pero you're tagging me because you want me to share that with my people. Because obviously, like, it's like, I mean, I don't know if they just assume that I'm going to get tagged and then I'm going to reshare it or whatever I'm going to do. But all of a sudden, they assume that I'm going to get their back and I'm going to support them in this freaking giveaway when they don't show any support or don't even freaking say a comment when we post stuff.
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of them follow both of us. It's not just like they follow me. Yeah. It's both.
Yeah, that's crazy, right? You would figure, because I haven't seen, and this is nothing to hate on you or your people, right? But I till this day I haven't seen one single person that has shared any of the things that you've posted, and you've had pretty interesting things that you shared, or personal things that I would be like, man, that's deep, right? Mm-hmm. I haven't seen one person like share that, right?
Yeah.
There's been, I think Marianne has commented on a couple of your posts.
Oh, yeah, she has.
Right? And I've seen that and like, oh, that's dope, right? She's showing love, right? But other than that, I haven't seen anybody else like interact with it.
Yeah, but it's crazy though, because I met Marianne over a year and a half ago. It hasn't even been that long.
Yeah.
And she be doing that, except for like, but then we go back to people that I've known for forever and they follow me and we talk every now and then. They don't even do that.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Now I get it, right? Now, because people are going to be like, well, maybe other people are not really into social media, and maybe somebody like Marianne, she's really into social media, so she'll comment and interact, right? But just like you said, right? And I've experienced this too, right? That I think the same, like, maybe they're not really into social media like myself. But yet again, I've seen other people, when other like celebrities are on live or they post something, I see them all up in their comments. Like, what the fuck? This person doesn't even fucking know you exist, and you're taking the time to comment on them, right? So I've already proven time and time over and over again that even if the people are not really fully into social media, like trying to, you know, be a content creator or whatnot, they still take the time to comment and post on a complete stranger, and won't do the same thing for somebody they know, right?
Well, isn't there a saying that goes like, oh, they want to see you good, but they don't want to see you doing better than them or something like that when it's somebody close to you. So I feel like, I don't know, por ahí va.
Yeah, exactly. O también el otro dicho en español es de que nadie es profeta en su pueblo, right? Like you might be the best. I mean, going back to the saying, you might be the best prophet out there, the best speaker, doing your thing. But yet again, for the other people are like, it's just Angel. It's just Chelo. Like, but when you go elsewhere, let's say, for example, TikTok, people that completely don't know you, they'll praise you or show you all this kind of love and give you your flowers because, quote unquote, they don't know you, right? So for them, you're this person that is creating content. And that is, this special person without having no connection with them. It's just crazy because I hate talking about this, but at the same time, I love talking about this because people are like, there's going to be people that are going to be saying like, oh, get over it. Like it is what it is, like nobody supported me from the start, but it's the sad reality, right?
Everybody wants to support you once you fucking hate. Then that's when they're like, oh, I went to high school with him or I went to high school with her. We were this, we were that. Like, ahí es cuando ya todos te quieren reconocer de que there's somewhat related to you in some way or some way or form.
Yeah.
But then going back to what you said, that now everybody's big into social media. Like, I get that. But then these are the same freaking people that be watching your freaking stories.
Yeah.
So it's just like, they just like to watch, but... Yeah.
Les gusta andar en el mitote, ¿no? En el metiche.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. So yeah, just the reason why I wanted to bring this up is because right before the podcast, we were just kind of sharing this, right? Because I guess I'm in the current state right now. Aside from anybody that's here taking the time to watch this podcast as of now that has showed support, I always tell the people that comment or send me a private message or whatever the case is. Like I tell them thank you, or whoever has any interaction with me, I tell them thank you, appreciate that, and I'm always gonna be mindful and remember anybody that supported us or supported me in any shape or form. And it's very few that I've seen time after time, year after year supporting, right? So I always show that. So if you guys are taking the time, for instance, my cousin Julian, he's commented on several podcasts. So shout out Julian, if you're listening to this, thank you, bro. I appreciate you taking the time. I know you've messaged me, commented on the videos, telling me that you're watching these videos as you work out, things like that. It's dope. I really appreciate that because time is very, very valuable. So if whoever's spending the time to watch this, I truly appreciate it. And if you do appreciate any of the things that we said on previous podcasts or even on this podcast, if you find anything informative out of this, comment down below, let us know. Because in the beginning stages of anything, that's the hardest, right? As Chelo was mentioning, I posted a quote not too long ago that, I don't want to butcher it, but it goes along the way that when you're starting off, nobody really will show support. But here, I'll say it because I don't want to butcher it. Tell them something funny, Biff. Tell them something funny or say something that way I can like.
I feel like another shout out would be to what is her name? I know her username. I don't know if that's her actual name, but her name is Lily. And she does makeup. Yeah. And she has a makeup page and she has her actual page. Yeah. But she goes off by Lily. Right. You know who I'm talking about, right? If you're watching this, you know who you are. Yeah. Yeah. But she follows,
I told her to call in one of these days. Okay, so this is the quote. Most people won't support you until they see it's popular to support you. Mm-hmm. Right? Until they see that, oh man, this person is a celebrity. I'm going to reshare their stuff. But other than that, while you're down in the struggle, nobody's really going to show support. Yeah. Why? Because they don't want to be the only one showing love. Right?
But then keep in mind too, like if people do that, like, oh shit, like now I'm going to support you because you're popular. Let's say like Peso Pluma, for example. But then I feel like at that point they expect for you to reshare it because they're like, oh, like this person knows me, pero ahí es donde... like Winnie, like no, because now it's like, okay, like now your millions or whatever followers are gonna be like, oh shit, like this person posted Angel, and like, oh shit, like let me go to their profile. So I feel like ahí como que se cambia.
Right. That's a good point. Yeah, because now like, oh, I knew them, so I'm a tag them so they can reshare it. They can see my page. But yeah, exactly. So just so you guys know, at this current time being right now, and eventually next time if I ever do another podcast, actually the next I'm gonna have a guest this upcoming week for next weekend's podcast. It's actually going to be Chelo's cousin that he used to be in the military, and then after being in the military, I guess he saw something or he didn't like something in the military that he ended up like, I guess, not sure if he finished his whole term and then decided to just like not rejoin the military. But after that, he just became like the whole van life. He bought himself a van and he took it across country. He did ayahuasca. He's done mushrooms. He's done like, so kind of he went into the spiritual side of things because because of all the different things that he experienced that maybe he just didn't agree with a lot of the things that society has hold him, I guess, accounted for, or a lot of the different things that society kind of implements in us. He didn't really like it, so he kind of went in that route in life, right? So I'm very, very excited about that. That was the whole purpose of Hoy No Mas podcast. I don't really care if people have a huge following, but I want to share people's life and journey that eventually they can eventually say something that can motivate or even change somebody's life by them saying something or by their life. Maybe their struggles that they went through, that you're currently going through similar struggles that you say or see that, man, if this person did this or this person went through this and yet again they were still successful, they were able to make it out in life, that you can get inspired by that. That was the main, and that is the main purpose why I started this podcast more than anything. I don't really care about the huge following from the person that comes and talks, but I want to hear people's story.
Yeah, I feel like that's what we were talking about last time.
Yeah.
That at the end of the day, it's the story.
Yeah.
What makes it.
Yeah. So by the way, I didn't finish saying it, right? But in my current moment, and as you said right now, like, oh, they never share anything. Like, we knew. That's exactly my mindset right now. Chelo, the way I see it right at this very moment, I'm like, you know what? It's you and I against the world. That's the way I see it. Aside from all the supporters or the very few supporters out there that have shown love, I appreciate you guys from the bottom of my heart. But I guess the reason why I feel like that is because it's not easy. It's not easy recording this. I was just telling Chelo that I'm tired. I woke up at freaking 4:30 in the morning, whatever, did cardio, worked around the house, and then we're here recording this. Then after this, we're gonna edit, post it, things like that. And so I really, really feel like, you know what, if people are not going to support like our friends or whatnot, it's just you and I against the world. The supporters, thank you from the bottom of my heart, but that's my current mindset right now. Like, you know what, okay, if nobody else is going to support, then we're going to do it on our own, and we're just going to continue working, make this pop off.
Exactly. Then don't come freaking be tagging us for us to reshare your stuff, because we're not.
Yeah, exactly. Anyways, babe, ready to start it off?
Yes.
Yeah.
Are you ready? Welcome to Hoy No Mas Podcast with Angel Houseman.
Welcome back to another episode of Hoy No Mas Podcast. I am your host, Angel Houseman. Today we have Chelo Beanie in the house. So another reason why I have Chelo back and forth is because at times it's hard to find a guest to make time with or whatnot, but at the same time, I love having podcasts with you, babe. Right? It's just, you know what, like, you know me the best. We deal with each other on a daily basis. We work with one another here at the house while you're doing laundry, cooking, whatever, while I'm doing this. And it's just like, I love this connection. It's kind of like a time that we get to, have a little bit of talk time between one another.
So we have a date.
Yeah,
night
it kind of really is like a date, huh?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So just recently, I posted a post on TikTok, and I was even debating whether posting it on TikTok because of like, kind of like, what's the point of posting this reel or this TikTok there's kind of like no context or not. It was actually me talking about that I stopped going to marisco restaurants, to marisco spots. Reason why is because when I would first walk into these mariscos restaurant, I feel like everybody, as soon as you walked into this restaurant, everybody would turn around and start like mad dogging you or giving you some sort of attitude, just, like looking you up and down just to see who you were coming with, who you are, what you're wearing. And it was just kind of like a very, very bad energy, right?
Yeah.
And it's just like, man, I'm just in that post, I said, man, I'm just trying to have a good time, trying to enjoy myself. Anyways, I decided to post it after all because I'm like, you know what? I have this reel already made. It's already edited. I'm just going to post it. Next thing you know, it goes viral to my point of view. Right now, it's up to like 230,000 views, right? So many freaking comments. Some people are like, bro, this guy's fucking scared to... This bro is scared to eat mariscos. This guy is scared to get in a fight. So a lot of negative comments, but then there's other comments. I feel like it's very split. I feel like there's more people that understand me. Because a lot of the people, they're like, yes, I stopped going there for that same reason. Or, hey, there was this girl that said... that's why I stopped going to those places and I started going to bougie places and they started attacking her.
Oh my
right?
God.
Yeah, a lot of. So let me ask you this: why do you think they started attacking her because she said that?
Because now it's just like, oh, like you think you're all of this and that. Like, why are you going to bougie ass places when?
Yeah.
Like your people go to the mariscos place.
Right, but why do you think she started going to the bougie places?
Because there's no drama.
Exactly.
And as someone that's been, so fun fact, Angel and I used to go to El Camarón, right?
Right.
We used to go to El Camarón around the same time, but we didn't even know each other. We never saw each other.
Right.
I don't think I ever saw you.
Yeah.
But me, like, going there too, I can tell you, like, it is that freaking vibe. Like, it's just... It's just like, that when you freaking walk in, everybody's, like, looking at you and, like, mad dogging you and, like, they're just scanning you up and down.
Right. So let me ask you this: when if going back to that post that I posted, you watching it or whatever, what type of feeling did you get from that post in specific?
Like, what side am I on?
What side are you on, or what you get out of it, just in general? Like, did you understand what I was trying to say?
I understand what you're trying to say because I feel like I understand that better because I've been in that environment, and I feel like when you're young or when you're in your early 20s or like you just turned 21, that's what you're trying to go for. But then there comes a time in your life where you're just like, dude, I gotta chill out. Like, it's not even worth it anymore for you to, like, something happen to you because of who you were with, like one person or a group. And it's just a lot. Like, yeah, I've had friends that they got, like, kicked out and then they got beat up and all of that. So
you've seen that and you experienced that, right?
Yes.
Okay, exactly. So going back to that post, right? I'm glad you mentioned that, right? Because I used to enjoy going to those marisco spots, the music, the having drinks, the food out there. It's just that type of vibe, right? But I'm pretty sure I would still enjoy it. However, the people that attend those type of places, a lot of those times, unfortunately, they come from a place that maybe they're doing some sort of drug out there, right? Or maybe they're just in that vibe listening to that type of music that they just get into this role that they believe that they're so-and-so, right? And what I meant by that is just like, you know what? I used to like it and I probably still enjoy it, but I haven't gone because of that same reason that you said, that I don't want to go to a place that I just can't relax, enjoy my food, right? Without having to look over my shoulder, without having to see if somebody's trying to cause some drama, right? And for me, it was just like, you know what? If you and I are going on a date, I want to enjoy the conversation you and I are going to have rather than, trying to see who's there, who's not, I'm just trying to enjoy my time. And I think it comes with maturity, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like, no, it's not being scared. It's not about like any of that. This camera's going to die right now, so I'm going to finish the statement right now. Yeah, I just saw the time. So, there you go. Yeah, so it's not about being scared or any of that, right? It's about, you know what, being having a different mindset. Why? Because for me now, the way I think about things, and I can relate this to multiple different things, right? Even from road rage, right?
Oh my God, yeah.
Right, it's happened multiple times that before, if somebody were to cut me off or something like that, I'd be like, you know what, screw
Tienen
that.
parejas.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull over next to this guy. I'm gonna pull up next to this guy. I'm gonna be like, hey, what's up, blah blah. However, because of my experiences and from what I witnessed of other people's situations, it's not worth it, right? For instance, I saw one time that this, I think he was an actor, that he had some sort of incident in out in the roadway, right? So he came out, right? He had road rage. He was all mad. He stepped out of the car. I guess the other guy that was in the opposite car, he was an older guy. The actor guy, much younger, hits him. The older man falls. He hits himself, and I think he ends up dying or very, very sick or something like that. Now this actor guy ends up getting locked up and loses everything.
It's not worth it.
Not worth it at all, right? Let's say putting myself in that situation. Let's say I want to do the same thing. You know what, babe? Like, screw that. Let's go to a marisco spot, and who cares if people are mad dogging? Let's just do our thing, right? Let's do our thing. Somebody says something to you, right? Because that happens, right? Especially,
especially in those places, everybody's just looking.
Yeah, looking, or they're going to be disrespectful to you, right? And what am I going to do? I'm not going to let that slide, right? So now it's just all of a sudden
fight.
We're in some sort of interaction with one another, altercation. And now we say something back and forth, we get physical. Next thing you know, I can get arrested. Guess what? I'm the provider in the relationship, right? Now, I'm arrested. Guess what? We lose everything.
Yeah.
I can lose my job. I lose the house, lose you. You know what I mean? Teddy, like my whole life can be ruined, right?
Yeah.
Just for some freaking bad decision. So going back to everything, I'm very cautious to the places that we go to. Obviously, we can't control life because anything can happen anywhere. But if the percentages of the probability for it to happen are higher to going to these type of places, I'll rather not go there, and I'll rather go to, like you said, places.
Cheesecake Factory.
Yeah, I'll rather go to Cheesecake Factory. Yeah, I'll rather go to places that are more mellow and that are more family oriented.
Yeah, because I feel like, I don't know, like me thinking. So another thing with that place, when I used to go over there, I was not even 21. I was like 18, between 18 to 20. I was not even legal over here. And you know why we used to go? Because we never got ID'd. And they used to let us drink. And then obviously, like, we would get fucked up and then we would go home. I mean, I would never drive, but we would never get carded because we had a waitress that worked there and she would never card us. So ella ya sabía cuando íbamos, or we kind of knew her schedule. So then we would go when we assumed that she would be there.
Yeah.
And then she already knew us. So she would be like, oh, what do you guys want? And then we would just order it.
So there goes to show you what type of environment that is, right? So let's say if at one point God blesses us with a kid, how would you feel about them going to a mariscos restaurant?
Hell no. Even like now thinking of them going to TJ, because for me, I mean, my mom knows this already, so I can say it. But for me, I would like sneak out to TJ. And my mom, I would be like, oh, I'm at so-and-so's house, like my girlfriend's house. And she'd be like, okay, pues está bien. But she never knew we were going to TJ. And then I would have come back to the day after, like in the freaking morning. And she freaking thought that I was sleeping over at my friend's house. And we were out there partying.
Right. But that's one thing, right? Going to TJ or lying, right? But how do you feel about, just in specific, about a mariscos restaurant?
Oh, no.
If they tell you, hey, I'm going to just a mariscos spot to hear the banda, how would you feel about that?
No. I feel worried.
Why is that?
Because I already know the environment.
Right. Yeah.
I feel like when you're a kid or a teen, you're just like, my freaking mom and my dad are just being extra. But honestly, like, you never see the freaking danger until you get older and you're like, oh shit, like all of these things could have happened to me and it never did.
Right. And you know what's crazy? That in having you and I having this conversation right now, everything makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Like, everything's like, I get you and I'm glad you understand my side, but babe, I was literally receiving comment after comment oh, this guy's scared. This guy's this. This guy's like, I was like, golly, I'm freaking getting bombarded by all kinds of comments. Obviously, these people don't even know me, right? Mm-hmm. Some of these people are like, who the hell is this guy? Or whatever the case is, this guy's scared or whatever. Like, oh, this guy has anxiety to be in freaking out in public. But the thing is, all I did was say, I stopped going to marisco spots because I don't like the vibe there.
Yeah.
And there was a comment there that said, a bro literally made a mariscos restaurant post into a Narcos episode.
Oh my God.
and it's true. People took this out of context, right? They started talking about, all the people that go there are, alucines, that they...
I don't know. I feel like it could be 50-50. It could be people that are and then people that are just wannabes.
Yeah, I agree.
Pero para saber.
Yeah, I agree. You never know, right? But, I was getting so many different things like back and forth, and I was just like, man, my mind started playing with me like, what the hell? Like, am I wrong for this? Am I not? And yeah, it's just crazy. But now that I had time to recollect, I'm like, no, you know what? I'm just speaking my truth, and I'm just speaking from my experiences and from what I know and what I want for my life, right? And thankfully, at least from your end, it's not like you want to be going to those places anymore, right?
I've been over that.
Yeah, same here. And that's another reason why I feel like we get along so good, in that sense that, you know what, you've already gone through that stage. I have myself. But yeah, so now that was a whole post about like freaking Marisco's restaurant. It was just like crazy. I wasn't even gonna post this freaking TikTok, and decided to post it, and it just so happens that it freaking went viral.
Well, you know what? Let me add something to that. I mean, I can't really talk too much on the subject, but I've heard from somebody that used to go there a lot that after, this person was like really into drinking. So it's one of those people that they know how much they can handle. And after leaving there, they don't even remember how they left, but they got in a car crash and they blacked out and they didn't wake up till the next day. I mean, hold on. They left, like, I guess they ended up leaving the place, but they don't remember anything. So they assume that they put something in their drink because they went there. So, I mean, they're never going to know, but I know they got into an accident and like all these things. So they assume that they put something in their drinks because they're really good drinkers. And I mean, honestly, when you drink, I feel like when you're like, okay, yeah, I'm going to stop it right there. So they did. And then after that, like, they don't remember shit.
Yeah, and you're just going to those type of places that you don't even know what to expect, right?
Exactly.
I'm going to give you one perspective right now that I almost forgot to mention, but I've been wanting to talk about this, right? So one of the times that we were in that restaurant, I'll say it. One of the times that we were at El Camarón, it was one of my friend's birthday. I'm not going to give any names, right? It was one of my friend's birthday, whatever. It was a group of us. So I think, let's say the bill was like $300, and it was like 5 of us, like 5 guys or whatever, right? So anyways, it was like 5 guys. I kind of knew what I ordered, and I knew that if it was $300 from what I ordered, I knew that it was in no more than $100 or whatever. So I'm like, you know what? Here's $100, and now there's $200 left to be split between
4 people.
For the 4 people, the rest of the 4 guys, right? Anyways, so I give my $100. I go to the restroom while they're like, they're gonna give their money or whatever. I come back, and I see them still huddled up. They're still huddling and kind of counting. Yeah, they're still counting the money, and I'm like, what the heck? And then one of my friends is like, hey, man, the guy across, he's talking smack. I'm like, what the hell? Why? He's like, I don't know. He's just talking smack. And what I realized was that the guy across the table, he was telling the group of guys that I was with, they're like, hey, si no pueden, yo se las pago la cuenta. You know what I mean? So he was kind of like, he was disrespecting all of those guys. Why? Because he was making like, hey, if you guys can't handle it, like, I got you guys, kind of like belittling them as como
no pueden pagar. basically.
Yeah, exactly. Como que it's almost like if they were females, almost like,
Yeah.
you know, like, hey, if you guys can handle it, I got it, right? And inside of me, as soon as I found out that that's what he was saying to them, and I was like, you know what? I get it. You know what I mean? Like, what the hell are you guys doing? All four of you guys counting the bill when, like, you guys could have easily split it in between, like, 3-4 ways, right? It was only like $200 left.
50 each.
Yeah, 50 each, and call it a day. But something as basic as that caused drama, because after that, I told the guy, hey, you know what? Like, don't get involved with this. At the time, I was younger, right? And I had a different mindset. So I'm like, hey, you know what? Don't get involved with this. Like, I'm with them. Like, don't get involved. And he's told me, no, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to them. Kind of like he didn't want any problems with me.
Yeah.
At the time, I used to be like really fit and like I used to work out or whatever. So I was more confident and I was willing to get to that point, right? So the guy's like, no, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to them. I'm like, hey, well, if you're talking to them, you're talking to me. I told him, you know, so it was just kind of, but it was one of those things that, like, now I think about it. Why the heck am I putting myself in these situations, especially for these guys that they can't even split the bill in 4 different ways? And now I'm having an altercation with this guy, and it's just like nothing good was going to come out of it.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah, but yeah, I've always wanted to tell this story, like.
And I feel like there's a lot of more stories about mariscos, please, but we're not gonna dive into that.
Yeah, exactly. And anything else that has to be related with that, or no?
I don't know. I feel like I've always heard of people like getting into fights and like getting kicked out and like fighting security. Yeah. And I've known those stories because of the people that I used to go with.
Yeah. Somebody commented on Instagram that they're like, you know what? I know exactly what you're talking about because I used to be security for that restaurant. And just going to the bathroom was a guaranteed $20 tip because of, you know, what they're doing in the bathroom, right?
Everybody knows that, though.
Right. So because the security was going over there and for them not to tell on this or for them not to get kicked out by the security, they were giving $20. So his mindset was like, oh my, I'm going to make $20 real quick. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Crazy. So now... I hope if anybody that freaking watched that little reel that I literally took this reel from the last episode, that it wasn't even related to any of this, of the whole Mariscos restaurant. But I took it because I'm like, oh, you know what? I just wanted to share something that I'm in a different mindset now, and the environment and the vibes of a specific environment or a person has a lot to do with, you know, your well-being. And that's the whole point I wanted to make with that. So I decided to post it and people went crazy, like literally split back and forth.
But then at the same time, I feel like the people that are like, oh, you're just being like this or that, or the people that are like, oh, you're just scared to go there, is because they've never experienced anything like that yet. Yeah. That's why they're like, oh, I still want to go there. I still like going there. Por eso no les da miedo.
Yeah, exactly. They're either younger, they haven't experienced any of that, or a lot of the times they're just talking smack online, because a lot of those people that were commenting on that, they had like a freaking like emoji on their they had like an emoji, like one of them had
spam account.
Yeah, like I think it was like a spam account. Maybe like this one guy had like the donkey face of freaking Shrek as the picture, were like 0 followers, and they were following like a whole bunch of people. So just people talking smack. But going back to that, it was just like I was getting comment after comment. I was like, dude, stop. Like, but like I said, the majority of people were like kind of like more on my side, but there was the other side of that were kind of saying the opposite, right? So now let's dive into this. Going back to that, something that's been pretty hot lately is the whole Yahritza, right? Yahritza and her group that she met. Yeah. That it went like, I feel like it's been like a hot topic for about like 2 weeks, maybe. Probably a little bit more, right? So for the people that don't know what this hot topic is Yahritza. She's a very, very, I guess, successful singer right now in El Regional. And her brothers have a group. And I think they stated that they were performing in Mexico and they got asked, hey, what is it that you like, or do you like being out here in Mexico? And they responded something along the lines that, oh, like, casi no nos gusta la comida de aquí, like, y luego está muy ruidosa, like, it's very loud here.
Like the chicken, the guy saying he liked the chicken
or
spicy stuff.
Yeah, that he prefers like chicken with like wings and things like that. That the spicy where he's from in Washington, it's more spicier than Mexico. So in that sense, a lot of people took it in a sense that they were putting down Mexico, and then people like started attacking him. Like, how are you guys going to be speaking in that sense and form about Mexico when Mexico is the one supporting you and putting you at a high level, right, in your career? So it's just like people bombarded them, right? So what are your thoughts with that?
Oh, I'm honestly in the middle. I'm not for it or against it.
Why?
Because like they're still young, but they know what they're saying, but then their mentality is not 100% there. Because honestly, we think when we were that age, like, we were not that mature, but we know what we're saying.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they're just giving, like, you ask them a question and they just freaking set their answer, like, straight up. Like, you're asking me a question, like, you expect me to say the truth. I'm not going to lie about it if I tell you I don't like something. Now, there's a big difference when you're Mexican, but you're quote-unquote whitewashed and you're raised over here, and then you hardly ever go, like, to the rancho and stuff. Like, that's a culture shock right there. But if you're Mexican and then you're constantly like, traveling to Mexico and like how things run over there, I feel like that's different than like never going to the freaking rancho and just going one day and you're like, oh, I don't like this and this and this.
Right.
Because I feel like when you're more familiar with how things are out there, como que te acostumbras más and you're like, okay, like I like this or whatever. But imagine like being raised over here your whole freaking life and eating American food. American food and Mexican food are not the same thing. And I'm talking about Mexican food, not like Mexican food from here.
Right. So let me ask you this then. So are they wrong for speaking their mind?
No, because they got to ask a question.
Right. And exactly, right? So they gave a sincere answer. That's not what they prefer, right? That's not their preference. Now, they're not talking down in Mexico. They're not saying, oh, I hate Mexico. They just dislike that part of Mexico, right? The loud city, the food, maybe it's not up to what they like. And they got like freaking bullied all over social media, right? Everywhere. Everybody was like freaking clowning on them and all that, right? Now, I was watching this podcast, La Platica. I was watching them. They're like, oh man, like they kind of brought it up as well. And they said something like, oh yeah, they were kind of like agreeing with the rest of the people that, oh, they should have never said that. Where's their PR team for them to give them guidance on what to say or what not to say? But then it got me thinking too, like, I get the whole PR thing, right? I get why the PR team is going to be guiding them. Oh, you should say this rather than that, right? Mm-hmm. I get the business side of it, right? However, what I don't like is that having that type of mindset stops the people from being organic and stops them from being original and speaking their mind.
Yeah, like, right? You're just saying like, oh, everybody has to be fake, because if the PR team is saying don't say that, then you're just gonna be lying to your freaking audience saying, yeah, I love this and this and this about Mexico, when you don't. Exactly.
Why is it, let's say if I don't like the freaking loud city, that's my opinion. Now, I can go, let's say for instance, when we go to Mochis, I love going to Mochis because that's where my family's from. However, you might dislike something from there, right? Like, oh, it's
freaking heat.
It's freaking humid, right?
Yeah.
Oh, and like now imagine if I said, oh, I dislike the humid, it's too hot out there. And I'm just giving my opinion, but I love going there. Right? Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that. People can have their own preferences, right? Now, another thing they mentioned on La Platica was that I think they brought up some sort of artist. I don't even know who this artist is, but they mentioned that this artist, this rapper, said that at one point in one of his interviews that he said he didn't like Tupac. And they were like, oh man, how can he say that? He like really messed up about saying that he didn't like Tupac. Tupac's like the pioneer and things like that. Bro, what's wrong with him having a preference?
Like, then why are you freaking asking the question? Like, right. Why do people get so fucking offended when, you know, somebody has an answer to something that they're asking?
Right. Like, people need to be original, right? But by them having to say, oh, they need to check in with their PR team, that's stopping from people being original. And I totally disagree with that. It's okay for people to agree to disagree. Mm-hmm. Right. And that's what I didn't like about what they were saying. Now, going back to the whole Yahritza thing, it's just like, man, she's only 16 years old. She's literally a kid. And now, like you were saying at the very beginning, oh, she already knows what she's saying. I get it. Right. But at the same time, if you were to look back at your young age of being a 15, 16-year-old, how many different things that you said or have done that you're like, oh man, I can't believe I said that, or I can't believe I did that.
Oh yeah, there's a lot.
Right?
We all have it.
Right? Now you see a post. I saw a post today that she was like really crying out there, explaining like, I'm sure like if I was already having mixed signals about like my post, and I was getting kind of like semi-attacked and like, oh, this guy, like whatever. Now I can only imagine how millions of people are talking down on her. She's only 16. She's a little kid, man. I don't think that's right.
Yeah, but then also think about this, dude. If you were to ask every freaking Mexican person living in Mexico, oh, is there something that you don't like about Mexico? Everybody would freaking say something. There's no way people would be like, oh yeah, I love everything about Mexico. Like, there's no way, dude. Everybody would say something like, a mí no me gusta esto, a mí no me gusta el otro.
Yeah.
And yet, not freaking half of the country's gonna go ahead and attack them.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. But it just felt like since it became popular to do that, everybody was jumping in the bandwagon. Exactly. Yeah, I'm glad you see the same thing that I see. Like, yeah, I agree that it's Mexico supporting the Yahritza and her grupo, right? Maybe she would have, if they would have reworded things or whatever differently, maybe they would have had so much hate or whatever. But they're just kids and they gave their honest opinion. I don't think it's wrong.
Exactly. I mean, like, we go back and to the beginning, like, they obviously know what they're saying, but I mean, they're not that mature, and we've all had those times before.
Yeah. It's just crazy how the freaking internet is, man. And just like, I think people just need to be original. And I really like, trust me, going back to the whole thing, I think, yeah, having a PR team or whatever, once you're an artist or famous, whatever, cool, it helps. But that PR team shouldn't let them not be original. Mm-hmm. They still need to be themselves, man. Exactly. And that goes to anybody in society. You shouldn't be like resharing people or things like that, artists or famous people, just because your friends are doing it, or if they like a specific music, hey, just be yourself. If you don't like that specific music, just don't listen to that. But I feel like society really puts you down to a place that if you don't fit in with the crowd, then there's
You're
something
like the
wrong
black
with
sheep.
you. Yeah, exactly.
Where like if you don't fit with the crowd, or if you say the opposite of what they expect, and everybody's just gonna freaking hop on the bandwagon and attack you, like freaking bully you online.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so yeah, I just felt like it's just I don't know. I feel like I wanted to talk about that too, because it's just like, it's unfair, man. Like, people make mistakes. And now imagine if you had the camera like on you as much as they do, right? Their kids just so happens that they're at the public eye, and now imagine if people were to record like their conversations.
Hold on, I was about to say something. Like, people are so quick to freaking judge, like, let's say us, that we're on camera, like whenever this goes up, like, oh, you guys this or you guys that. But now think about if every person were to blog their life, everybody would have a say about it. Like, everybody would be like, oh no, you're doing something. Like, those same people that are criticizing, there would be something in their life that somebody else will call them out for.
Right. So now I guess to kind of counter that, they'll be like, well, that's why we don't do that. So what would be the answer to that?
I don't know.
My answer to that would be like, las estatuas se hicieron para los criticados, no para los críticos, right?
Mm-hmm.
So do you understand what that means?
Wait, las estatuas?
Chelo's over here agreeing with
I'm
me.
like,
She don't
wait,
even
hold
understand
on.
it. Las estatuas, statues,
Yeah.
se hicieron para los criticados.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have the statue. This person's criticized, so they made this statue. No para los críticos. Do you get it or no?
So that only the people that are criticized get idolized? Not idolized, but like, I don't know how to explain.
So in a sense, because they're in the public eye, because they did something great, whatever the case is, they obviously made a statue for this
Yes.
person, right?
Mm-hmm.
However, because this person was in the public eye, because this person did something in their life, they're going to get criticized no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's going to be always an opposition.
Yeah, yes or
Right.
no.
Yeah, yes or no. Oh, look at this. No, but he didn't do this, but he did this. And, I found out that he did it. So he's going to get criticized no matter if they built a statue for this person, no matter how great he was. They built a statue and he's the best person out there. There's always going to be critics on the sidelines criticizing that.
But those people are never going to have a statue because they're just the ones talking shit.
Exactly. Those people are critics. So those people are not going to have that statue. That's what the quote means. Right? So yet again, Yahritza, as talented as she is, she's talented or whatever, but she's the one being criticized. But look at all those critics, all those people on the sidelines, just like, giving their 2 cents when they're not doing anything with their life. Anybody else that's doing something with their life are not talking down on her.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
I feel like that has been a freaking topic for a while now. I feel like it's been all over freaking TikTok and like all the memes and all that.
Yeah, it's been like something going on so like quite a bit, and just like, yeah, I guess it kind of ties into everything that we're just talking about, right? About like, people not supporting, people having different opinions, and then now jumping into that. I feel like all of it ties in, and we kind of had an idea of what we wanted to talk about, but now like it just us talking about this right now just feel like everything ties in together, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now something else that we want. Are you good, or is there anything that you wanted to mention of any of this?
No.
Okay, so now jumping into another, I guess, hot topic that's been going on. It's the whole Maui fires. Like, I'm not sure if everybody has TikTok. I'm not sure if you guys are really down there into social media, really researching or listening to anything aside from what the news is stating out there. But there's been a lot of videos out there.
Yeah.
And I think you just watched a few of them.
Yes, I did before we hopped on the podcast.
All right. So have you heard any of the news reports? And have you watched... Well, you watched some of the TikTok posts, right? But have you heard what the news says and then what the TikTok posts say, by any chance?
I don't watch the news, so I don't know anything what the news said.
Okay. So no news.
No news.
What's something that you watched on the TikTok post that I've sent you or whatnot?
I mean, there was a lot of things that stood out, but one of them was that the police officer or chief that was the main person in the Maui fires, or the main person in charge of the police department, something along those lines. It was the same law enforcement officer that was in charge in the Las Vegas shooting. And wasn't it the Mandalay Bay? Yeah, right? It was the Mandalay Bay?
Yeah, I think
where
so.
On that country music festival a couple years ago.
Yeah.
So I don't know, that's just pretty interesting.
Yeah.
But then I feel like everything is freaking connected, because why is he involved into like different massacres or like I don't know.
Yeah, like this high level like incidents that are happening, right? First to Vegas, then just so happens that he goes to Hawaii, and then this happens under his, I guess,
under his belt.
Yeah, under his establishment or whatnot. And it's just like, it gets you really thinking of like all of these high level people are connected, and they put and they elect certain people to be in certain positions for specific reason, right? So I totally get that. That's one of the ones that when I first heard of that, I'm like, oh, it got me thinking too, like, oh, what a coincidence, right?
Yeah.
What's something else that you watched through the TikToks that...
I think the second thing was that a lot of people were saying that they never got a notification on their phone about the fires. And that's really weird because, I mean, most of us nowadays have a smartphone. And a smartphone will give you alerts unless you have them off. Like, I had them off right now that it was a whole hurricane thing. And then I turned them back on because I don't like to get bugged by them. But there's no way that, let's say, 1,000 people all had them off and nobody heard anything.
Right. Well, not only that, when I was, I got actually worked in Hawaii for, I think it was like for 5 weeks. And at the time that I was over there, there was a time that there was going to be a tsunami there. And they literally sounded off an alarm that the whole island could listen to. Like, hey,
is it like the purge alarm?
Something similar to that everybody can listen
no.
to. Well, it wasn't the scary one, but it was just alerting you that, hey, there's the tsunami coming, like, get ready, you know what I mean? And literally everybody could hear it, right? So one, they didn't sound off the alarm, right, for the whole island to listen to. Like you said, no phone notifications, right? They also mentioned that the kids, for some reason that day, they got sent home, right? They got sent home. So the kids were at home. Another post, right? And by the way, I really want to mention that all of this is through TikTok posts and things that we've seen online from people that are actually there at the island and in Hawaii, right? That they're reporting and documenting themselves. We're not saying that any of this is true or false. We're just speaking on multiple different posts that we've seen through social media, right? Another one, they said that there was a specific firefighter. They said that when he tried to turn on the fire hydrant, that there was no water, right?
What the hell?
Yeah, there was no water. And then multiple people that were trying to like turn on their water hoses, whatever. Yeah, they literally had no water. So it just that's another thing to add on to the whole Maui fire like incident, that just so many different things that kind of gets you thinking of what really went down, right?
Exactly. And in the videos that you sent me and that I was watching, there was a comment of somebody saying that they had a cousin out there and they were like, I don't know what branch of the military they were in, but they were like somewhere over there within a military branch, and they begged like their chief or whatever to let them and go and help on the fire, and they said no.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Somebody in the comments was saying that.
Yeah.
And people were going back and forth at it.
That's crazy. There was something else that I wanted to add on to it was, a lot of people are donating like, I guess, food or different packages to help out the people from there. And FEMA didn't want nobody to help out. If they weren't part of FEMA, people couldn't receive any of those packages. So they couldn't make it out to the people if it wasn't FEMA related. Crazy.
Did they say why? Like, just because it's because it's not us that they can't?
Yeah.
I also saw that TikTok where they're like in a field or something like that, and there's a police car like in the middle of the field, and he's talking through the radio, and he's saying like, oh, this I guess they were giving out what did you just say? Oh my gosh, I blinked out. They were giving out food and stuff, and he said like, oh, this place is gonna get shut down right now, like people can't be giving out stuff, and there was a bunch of people making line to get things like water and food and all of that.
Yeah, it's just freaking crazy. Like, it's just too many things. Like us here and being from Mexican descent, dicen cuando el río
suena es porque algo trae.
Yeah, cuando el río suena es porque piedras carga or something like that, right? But it's just like too many different things are coming up that it really, really gets you thinking. There was another one, right, that when people were like really trying to save themselves out there from the fire, they jumped into the water and there was no Coast Guard. There was nobody out there trying to rescue people at all.
I saw that video. That looked fucking scary. Imagine like you had to jump in the water and you didn't even know how to swim. Yeah. Like you, because you don't know how to swim. That's freaking scary.
Yeah. Now, this is one of the highest ones out there, right? And that, once again, is just like, I don't really care if I'm not gonna say whether I believe it or whether I don't believe it. I'm just gonna put it out there. There was one thing right now they're saying that all of this, one of the things was that the fire, supposedly they didn't know how the fire got started. However, there was multiple people that they were saying that there was, I guess, a beam of light or whatever, right? So a lot of people's theories was that these fires were caused because of some sort of beam. They call it DEW, right? The direct, what is it called? I think it's called like direct energy weapon or something like that, right? DEW. They call it DEW.
Oh, like DEW?
Yeah.
I thought it's DO, like do,
No,
like
no,
do
no.
it.
Direct energy weapon or something like that, right? So there was actually this caught my attention that a while back there was I think it was a Mountain Dew. There was a Mountain Dew can that said a Maui Burst Mountain Dew or something
It was
like
like
that.
a flavor.
Yeah, it was a specific flavor, but it was saying Maui Burst Mountain Dew. And it got a lot of people thinking because like, what a coincidence that this happened with, Dew, direct energy weapon or whatever.
And then Maui.
And Maui Burst. And then they had this can that was literally called that a few, I guess, months or maybe a year or something that was released before all of this happening. Now, a lot of people that like to go into different theories out there is that they say that they post all these different things in movies and different hints.
Simpsons.
Yeah, Simpsons, before they actually release it and before these incidents actually happen and in reality to the actual physical people, right? So yeah, they were talking about that this was caused because of some sort of beam. Now there's no proof of that. This was just, people talking there, right? And now another thing they mentioned is that I saw this post that they were saying was that there was a lot of people that are missing from the island. Like I think they were saying like 1,500 people missing. Where are they going to be missing to, right?
Exactly.
So why do you think they would be missing?
To keep their houses, to keep their property.
But what happened to those people?
They died instantly. I mean, they could have jumped into the water, but I mean, a body can't be, even if you die in the water, your body's going to float back to the freaking surface.
Right. So, okay. So they would have been found, right?
Yeah.
So what do you think? Any other thoughts?
I don't know, to experiment on them.
No. So they're saying now going back to the jab, right?
Oh.
So because of the whole jab thing, they said the whole jab, they had like some sort of metal particles, right? So now when this direct energy weapon happens, it strikes, because what happens, it's some sort of microwave, right? So it pretty much evaporates the people because of the metals inside of the people's body, so they're easily targeted and easily to disappear, right? Because it's like a laser and it just
vanishes.
Yeah, vanishes. So that was the craziest one that I heard, and they can't find, at least from what I saw last, 1,500 people.
That's insane.
Now the numbers are not correct. Maybe
I honestly think they never get the numbers right.
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes they just put a number out there so people don't freak out, like, oh, it's this many, but I feel like there's always more.
Yeah, and they were asking the police officer, that guy from Las Vegas. They were asking him, hey, where's all these people? Where's all these kids? And all he said was no comment. And right before we started recording this podcast, I guess now, after all of this is happening, I guess they're gonna put some sort of I forgot what they called it, some sort of like a lona, like a dust barrier, como si fuera, like, let's say a big curtain over that incident, that they're gonna block it off. So it just gets you thinking. Like, I think they said in that post that never has this happened before, that they just, put this whole cover over this incident. And
Yeah.
they were trying to use some sort of excuse. Oh, we're going to do that because of to contain the area, whatever. But it was just kind of like, what are they trying to hide?
Yeah, and then didn't you see that even the FBI was involved?
Yeah, the FBI rather than the, I guess, Coast Guard or something like that.
Yeah, there's something going on.
Yeah, and just to end it, right? I guess, all these different families that lost everything. They lost their lives, their homes, and so many different things. It's so unfortunate. But down the street or whatnot, or not too far away from all of that incident, you have Oprah, other millionaire houses that nothing happened to them, right? But just in that specific area.
It's because it's weird, because if that fire was able to freaking melt metal, there's a lot of things. Like, I remember seeing there's literally a video of a staircase in the middle, and everything was like around it was burnt, but the staircase, like the concrete looked clean, the handrails looked like if nothing happened, but everything around it was burnt.
Right. And then something else that they brought up, right, that when things burn, obviously they burn, there's ashes out there, but the aluminum rims were completely melted. Like, you could literally see aluminum melted on the freaking street, on the concrete. And I've never seen that before, right? And that's a lot of people that they were saying the same thing. Like, how hot does something have to get in order for fire to freaking melt freaking concrete, vanish windows? Like, what the heck happened here? It's not natural.
It's not normal.
Yeah.
It's not a normal fire.
Yeah, so I don't know. Like I said, once again, we're just putting a few of the things that we recollected and watched through TikTok. I mean, you can watch the news, you can watch TikTok for yourself and come up with your own conclusions. So we're just putting things out there that we constantly see over and over on different people's posts from people that are actually out there in the island. And yeah, we'll see what comes out of it. I think more than anything, out of everything, is just for my thoughts are just like, man, like my heart goes to all those families out there, the people that innocent lives, animals, kids, adults, people that had families. It's just very unfortunate that they had to go through, whether it was intentional or whether it was an
accident.
Yeah, some sort of accident, whatever the case is. At the end of the day, it sucks that things like this happen. And then something else that really bothered me, I guess the locals out there were already receiving phone calls from real estate agents that they were like, hey, like, would you be interested in selling your terreno, right? Your property. It's just like, man, where's the sympathy for these people? You know what I mean? Like, nobody cares.
Exactly. Like, you almost freaking died, and the only thing you care about asking is, oh, do you want me to buy your property?
Yeah. And then something else that I guess the governor or whoever runs Maui right there, I guess, I'm not sure if this report happened before or after the fires, but right away, it just so happens that they had plans for that specific area, that they wanted to make it a smart city. However, a lot of the locals there
didn't want to sell.
They didn't want to sell, or they didn't want to be part of that.
I wouldn't be surprised that after the fire, they're going to say, oh, there's something in the land that you guys can't be here. And then they're just going to freaking move everybody out.
No. I don't know.
No, we're going to wait. But yeah, it's a very unfortunate event.
Yeah. All right, babe. Anything else you want to add?
No, I feel like I said everything I seen on TikTok.
Yeah. Well, once again, if you guys made it this far, we appreciate every single one of you guys that take the time to watch, comment, like our content, our podcast. This whole podcast, when we first began it, we said it for those few out there people that are supporting us from the start. We appreciate you guys. Show some love, support, subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed yet. Every week we try to upload a podcast every single Wednesday. We missed last week because we were just so busy. But every week, every Wednesday, 6 o'clock, you guys are able to expect a podcast. Subscribe to the channel, leave a like, let us know that you guys are enjoying the podcast. What other types of episode you guys would like on the platform, or if you guys would ever at one point want to be part of the podcast or would want to call in. That's something else that I want to incorporate into the podcast for just random guests. People call in, maybe share a few thoughts, tell us anything you guys would want. I want to make sure you guys are connected to this podcast. At the end of the day, we made this podcast because we want to connect with the people. So what do you want to say to the people that show support?
That we really appreciate you guys, and we're really thankful for you guys for taking your time of the day, because we're all busy and we all have a life. And I don't know, just thank you guys for watching our stuff and commenting and sharing and just taking your time of your busy day to watch us and give us support. Thank you.
Yeah. Once again, it's Angel Houseman. Like I always like to say, it's a greater risk not taking a risk. Till next time.
Bye.